All right, it's here somewhere. Just fleet guard. Just a sea of fleet guard. That one might be one. And I need a water separator yet. I think it's in the back there. All right, that should be good. I do like my Fleet Guard filters, but then again, I am biased because Fleet Guard is part of Cummins filtration. I think Cummins is the owner of Fleet Guard, so I'm a little biased. Just a disclaimer there. All right, I think we're just about set up and ready to go here. If you have a Dodge of this era, the 1998 and a half to 2002, this is a 2002, the last model of this version of the Cummins engine until they went to the common rail. You will not have this fuel filter set up on it exactly like this unless it was already on the truck or somebody put it on. For those of you guys that don't know, and the guys that do know this, you know it already, the fuel filters on these Dodge trucks had a canister cup that was bolted to the side of the engine, and it had a plastic lid on it, and it was plastic. I still remember it was I don't know if it was a metric socket or 15/16 rings a bell, nut on the top of it that was plastic, cast into the plastic, and that lid would always deteriorate being plastic in the hot engine compartment. Once you got that lid off, well, you were supposed to drain it also. They had a drain on it that you would push a little drain, and it would drain that fuel canister that was bolted fast, and the fuel would run out on the ground. And then once it was empty, you'd take that lid off or break it off, pull out that skinny little tiny fuel filter cartridge. I mean really small, smaller than the oil filter like on the Farmall Super C, and that was supposed to filter the fuel on a 5.9 liter Cummins engine. No good. I did not like it. I don't know if that was part of Cummins' design, but I have removed mine, and it had Chrysler part number decals on it. So maybe it didn't have anything to do with Cummins. Maybe it was Chrysler. But I already told you guys the problems with this, the lift pumps on these trucks. If it's the electric lift pump, you're going to have trouble eventually. That wipes out the injection pump. I have a auxiliary. Get my light here. And I put this on. I did not want this to happen. Oh, no, it's on the other side, wrong side. I did not want this to happen again to my truck because my injection pump had been replaced because of this nonsense. This is the setup. If I can get under here. One fuel filter and one fuel separator. See how rusty they are? Now that is just 1 year, of being on the truck in the salt. So I change these every year right before winter. We are going into a couple days here where it's going to be 11 degrees at night. If there is some water in there in those filters, we are going to change them. This is more the filter system on the Maxim series tractors that had the 5.9s. You got a good size fuel filter, a spin-on, and you also have the water separator. Fuel water separator. And I do use this. I do open this from time to time, and it does work. So that's what we're going to be attempting to do here, part of today's video. So another thing I figured I would cover, this diesel 911 stuff that they sell is for winter emergencies. Of course, that's how it's advertised. As a mechanic, I want to tell you guys that I have personally seen this stuff work. Excuse me. We had a service call on a dairy farm, and they had a tractor that we did not have a filter in stock, a fuel filter for it. The farmer had called, it was froze up. He didn't really know how to bleed it or get it going again. I was sent out. I took a jug of this stuff along. I don't know if it was this brand. There's all kinds of different brands, but I took this out, spun off his fuel filter, and put the fuel in. All right, I'll get back to my story in a second. I just got sidetracked for about 5 minutes and forgot where I was. I got these two. If I can get. Got these both changed. I did fill them with fuel, so they are full of fuel. And One thing, I'll show you a trick to getting this primed so there is no cracking injection lines. I'm pretty sure. Man, this truck, every time I crawl under here, the rust is just adding up here. Let me come back with you. All right, so back to my story. I went out on the service call to this dairy farm. The tractor was froze up. It was an incredibly cold day. I remember how miserable it was and just windy and cold. Down in the single digits. I think it was like 5 degrees for a high that day. Miserable day. So I went to this farm. It was on a manure spreader tractor. They needed to get the tractor going. We did not have the filter in stock, so I could not bring them a new fuel filter. So I took a jug of something similar to this out, spun the fuel filter off, dumped this in the fuel filter, and put the rest of it in the tank. This will treat 100 gallons, and I think it was a bigger jug than this. I think it was I know I put way more in than was required. And I primed everything, and we managed to get it started, and he never had any problems with it the rest of winter. So this stuff, I have seen this personally, that this will says it restores flow of fuel. I don't know if it takes the gel out, if it dissolves any ice, whatever it is. This stuff does work. I have seen it. It doesn't have to be this brand. Like I say, I'm not pushing any products here, but the general diesel fuel emergency stuff does work. So there's that. All right, so to get this started without having to mess around with priming everything, cracking lines, this truck doesn't really have a primer. You put the key in. You hear the pump running. Maybe you can. I'll try to get a close-up of it. Now, you don't want to start the truck. All you want to do is just, they call it bump the key, so let me demonstrate that. There it is. Now you can hear it. So that'll run now, and here it shut off. So it should be primed. There's a return line when you install this that you install in the neck of your filler cap here, and it'll just keep cycling it through the system. I want to do that one more time just to make sure. One time it didn't quite work out the best. Just try this again. Hear it circulating. Ugh. Just to make sure everything's primed, all the air's pushed out. So we should be good at that. Let me start it here now. We're staying parked for sure. I like to keep my hand on the throttle just in case. One time I did this, it sputtered a little bit, and right there, yep, sputtered. Just give it a little more throttle. I'm sorry about the camera work. Let me come back. All right, it's been running now. Let's just double check for leaks. Good to me. Still running. And I can't remember the last time I got fuel if I put some of this in. I put this in every single fill up just to be safe. So basically, short of me going to the fuel station and pumping a couple of gallons of water that was in the pump, this is pretty well a maintenance or should be a trouble-free winter now. As far as this truck running in the cold, with the filters being changed, additive constantly being added as I get fuel. I have never had this truck freeze up in the 300,000 miles. All the winters in, what is it, 14 years I own it now? So 14 years, I've never had a frozen Dodge. Started every morning. Now, granted, I'm not running it as much as I used to. Like I said, 2,000 miles a year on it. But I still want to change them filters every year no matter what. It's still, even though it's only 2,000 miles, it is still a year. and in here, there's sweating, there's condensation, there's all kinds of things that can go wrong. Yeah, it's a lot less fuel through the truck, but you saw what the outside of the filters look like, so trouble-free winter now should be. Knock on wood. If I don't get bad fuel, we're ready to go here. Anytime we have to get out with the pickup. So see what else we got going. All right, so cross another thing off my list. That job is done. I am going to change the engine oil in this because it's been 2 years now. I think I'm at the mileage, and I have a filter, and I have the 1540 Shell Rotella that I put in everything. I do have some of that, so we're not going to do it today because by the time I get set up and get going with it, it's going to be dark, and I don't like working in the dark. So I will do that possibly tomorrow, but anyway. That's finished. We should be good for the winter. That's just great that you don't have to go now and crack injection lines and try to bleed all the air out. Seems to work pretty well every time. Just fill the filters as full as you can get them with fuel. You bump the key, the pump automatically takes over and recirculates it. I do it twice, and you might get a little bit of a sputter, and it always helps to have your foot on the throttle or your hand on the throttle just to give it that little extra to get the air through. So we're good now. All right, so that's the end of that project. Another thing crossed off the list.